peace, prosperity, good times. All those words can describe the era of good feelings. America was feeling good and united a few years after the War of 1812 and the end of the Napoleonic Wars over in Europe. I know, it's shocking, but yes, there has been a time in United States history where we have been united as a country instead of divided. The time was great. The people were doing happy and well. The economy was prospering. Oh, did I mention they were doing happy? Yes, as you will see, this will be a common theme in this video. The era of good feelings officially began in 1815 following the War of 1812. Good feelings replaced the bad ones caused by political divisions. The divisions were largely reduced at the Hartford Convention, which caused the Federalist Party to collapse at a national level. It also didn't help that the Democratic Republicans also adapted more Federalist ideas, like how the government would get more involved in the economy and the passing of new protective tariffs. Oh yeah, and the Second National Bank. However, the Federalists did nominate Rufus King for president in 1816, who got his rear end kicked by James Monroe, both in the popular vote and the electoral vote. James Monroe deeply cared about uniting the country together and even refused to talk down to the Federalists, something the modern political parties refused to do. Monroe was deeply loved by the people of the United States, especially in the Boston area. Monroe was able to gain more and more support through his tours of key areas like in New England in the beginning of his term. When Monroe ran for re-election, the Federalist Party didn't even really nominate a candidate to go against him. Monroe got all but one electoral vote, with one man not voting in favor of him, so that Washington could be the only president to win every single electoral vote. Despite his popularity, the economy began to sink. You see, a lot of money was being printed by the Second National Bank, and when a lot of money is printed, that creates high inflation. This and the fact that other countries didn't buy as many goods from the United States all caused the Panic of 1819 to happen. Many Americans were left unemployed and unable to receive loans. This began to divide the nation a little bit, and of course, Missouri also wanted to be a state in the Union, which would then break the balance between the free and slave states, which did not help the nation at all. Eventually, the Missouri Compromise was reached in 1822 thanks to the great compromiser Henry Clay. One of the most important things that happened during this era and James Monroe's presidency was his Monroe Doctrine, which pretty much stated that it was not the right of the United States to intervene in European issues. The era of good feelings officially ended because of the 1824 presidential election. Monroe decided not to seek a third term, and a bunch of candidates rushed to run. The election would see guys like Andrew Jackson, John Quincy Adams, Henry Clay, and William Crawford running for president. In the election, neither candidate won the majority of the electoral votes needed to win, which was 131. Jackson got the most with 99 of the electoral votes and the highest percentage of the popular vote, 40%. 99 electoral votes were not even close to the 131 needed to win. And under the Constitution, when none of the candidates reached the majority of electoral votes needed to win the election, the House of Representatives chooses the presidents. With Henry Clay being out of the race since he finished last, he made a deal with John Quincy Adams. He would use his influence in the House to get John Quincy Adams the president of the United States. And in turn, Adams would make Henry Clay the Secretary of State. So, they made a corrupt bargain, in the words of Andrew Jackson, and John Quincy Adams became president of the United States and then immediately put Henry Clay in his cabinet in the position he wanted to. Jackson and his supporters were outraged at this and immediately accused them of a corrupt bargain. The nation became more divided between the Jackson supporters and those who were not in favor of him. And with this is the conclusion of the era of good feelings. It lasted from 1819 all the way to 1825, when Adams was sworn in as president. The era of good feelings was a time where the nation would be as united as it had been up to that time. The era of good feelings proves that we can unite back together again, and that all hope is not lost in this nation, despite the massive political divisions currently in the United States right now caused by our main two political parties.